Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. So today what we are going to talk about is we want to talk about the top 5 mistakes that fish keepers make and how to fix them. These aren't just always noob mistakes. Some of these mistakes are mistakes that even I make. Oh boy, do I make some mistakes. If you watch my videos on my channel, you will see Jason makes some mistakes. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start off. All right, so number 5 on the list is not quarantining. Well, Billy and Timmy and Jimmy, guess what? We got you some new friends. Woo, looky here. We're gonna put them in. Oh, well, look at those guys. This one's got some kind of white spots on him. It must be some of that special hybridization I keep hearing about. Well, let's go ahead and, well, just to make it easy, we'll just pour the fish and the water in there, just like that. Oh yeah, go Jimmy. Now I know that's just an easy, simple thing to do. Hey, then bring your fish home in quarantine. But let me tell you, you have got to quarantine your fish. Even fish that I get in, I will play with this in my mind. I've seen this person's fish room. I know they take care of their fish. So I should just be able to put it in, because you want to just take your fish and you want to just immediately put them in your tank. You don't want to have to wait a week or 2 weeks or ever how long you quarantine. But believe me, I have killed fish before because I didn't quarantine. Take some time and quarantine. Take those fish. Always have a hospital tank. Even if you only have one tank, still have another tank that you can use as a hospital or a quarantine tank. And there's lots of different videos on different ways of quarantining, but at least separate that fish for a little while so you can either medicate it or you can at least watch it and you can see if the fish is having any kind of problems, if he's showing some kind of white spots like ick, or maybe check his poop and it's turning colors it shouldn't be turning. There's lots of different things that you can watch for new fish that you do not want to bring into your tank and then give it to all the other fish and then have to deal with fighting that with all of your other fish and having to medicate that entire tank. All right, so number 4 on the list is not having a timer on your lights. All right, let's see. So we spent $50 in the tank. We spent $20 on the substrate. We spent $30 on the sponges. We spent about $150 on the fish. What are we gonna? We got some good $50 lighting. I wonder if we should spend $2 and get a timer so that we can control the lights. No. These fish look like they might be scared of the dark. So let's just run these suckers all day and night long. I know you see people all the time that are posting. They're wanting to know why their water is completely green and they can't see any of their fish. And then someone asks them, hey, how long are you running your lights for? And they say, oh, I'm supposed to turn off my lights. It's important that you keep a light schedule. Now, because of the fish room that I have lots of different tanks, so I typically only run my lights for about 8 hours a day. And a lot of people run them a lot more than that, because if you're trying to actually do the same amount of light that you see outside, you know, you're probably gonna wanna do more of a 12 hours on and 12 hours off. Or there's even people out there that they like to break it up, where they'll do 2 hours on and then 2 hours off and then 2 hours on and 2 hours off and then 3 hours on and 3 hours off, so on and so forth. You just need to learn whatever your routine needs to be, the way that you're keeping your fish, whatever works best. A lot of times it's just a trial and error type thing, but there's so many other things that go into play with having problems with your tank. There's usually something else that goes along with it. Just because you're running your lights too long may not be the only cause of why you're getting these big, huge algae blooms. But it is so easy now to be able to control your lights. If you don't want to buy just that standard, you know, that timer that you go buy at Lowe's, there are some awesome timers that I've been using that you can get on Amazon that you can run from your phone, that run off of an app. All right, number 3 on the list is overfeeding. All right, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we got about 20 fish. We got our special aquarium co-op measuring thing here. What is this, TSPs? I guess that's how many fish, so I need 20 of these TSPs. So we're going to top this thing off about 6 times. All right, let's go ahead and pour in here. We've all been guilty of this. I know whenever my wife comes out into the fish room and she looks at my fish, she goes, "Your fish are starving, Jason. You've got to feed them." I'm like, I literally just fed them 2.5 minutes ago. That's the thing with fish. They're always looking like they haven't eaten in a month. So you've got to get used to that fact. So just get into a regimen of feeding them at the exact same time. Now, it's okay. You can feed your fish 2, 3, even sometimes 4 times a day, but only feed them enough that they're going to eat it within about a couple of minutes. So get used to how much it takes to feed them. Again, it's another thing that's just learned. As you do it, you get more used to what tank eats how much and how much to feed and how often to feed. Now, remember, if you've got fry that's growing up in there, fry are gonna need to be fed more often, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day to actually keep them alive, especially after they're just born. So you need to take that into consideration. But get yourself in a habit so that you're feeding at the same times every day and the same amounts all the time, instead of just looking at the fish and thinking, oh my gosh, this fish is starving, it's time to feed them again, because overfeeding will cause way more problems than it's absolutely worth. All right, number 2 is the impulse buying or overstocking your tank. Oh yeah, I'd like to get 12 of them there lemon tetras, and 12 of them Serapé tetras, and I want 12 of them there Cory cats. Give me 4 of those, those common Placostomus. And I need 5 angelfish, and I think that will just about, wait, no, give me some of them loaches right there also. What size tank do I have? Oh, I got a 20-gallon long set up at home, ready to go. This is the one that I get the most guilty of. I'll go to the fish store and I'll see all these new fish that came in that I absolutely have to have. Now, remember, I have 90+ tanks, so I do have some flexibility, but the problem is I'll just keep pointing out fish for them to buy, and then as I'm thinking about all the fish, I don't even know exactly where they're gonna go and which fish can actually go with which fish, because at that time, all I know is, oh look, pretty fish Jason wants, and that can get us in a tremendous amount of problems. There's so many different problems that you can have, mixing the wrong types of fish together, or the other thing that you run into is the fact that you are going to overpower your biological filter. If you add too many fish in at one time, the filter is only designed at that time. There's only enough bacteria that's built up on the rocks and glass and sponge filter or hang on the back or whatever it is that you have. There's only enough to be able to provide the breakdown of ammonia and nitrite and nitrate for the fish that you currently have. Because if there's more bacteria than that, that bacteria will begin to die off because there's not enough food that's available for it. So when you take a tank that has 12 fish in it and you bring 12 more fish and put in it, you have now doubled the bio load on that tank. And now you're gonna have major problems because you're most likely gonna have an explosion of ammonia that's gonna burn your fish, possibly kill your fish. It's gonna stress your fish out, which is in turn probably gonna give your fish ick. So you're gonna run into problem after problem after problem. So you've got to control your impulse buying when you're at the fish store. You need to look at the fish and you need to set back before you tell the guy to, hey, catch this fish for me. You need to think to yourself, is this a good decision that we're about to make? And then after you've decided it's a good decision, then go ahead and have him catch the fish. Maybe you need to come back every single day for that week and buy 1 fish every single day until you get the 12 fish that you wanted. That way you're adding 1 at a time and you're giving the bacteria enough time to build up. Spending all that money on fish and then bringing them home and having them die, you just lost a lot of money. So you don't want to do that. Stop with the impulse buying. All right, here we are at the number 1 problem, and that is not understanding cycling of a tank. Can you give me 1 of each one of the colors of them there betas? Yeah, to go on my new tank that I'm just now buying. What? You have so many people that go into a Petco or a PetSmart and they go in there and they buy a tank and then they go, oh, I want to buy all these fish to go in this tank, and the person that's helping them doesn't explain to them that those fish, when you put them in that tank, are going to die because there's no cycle going on. There's no bacteria to take care of the fish waste. And when that happens, all you do is you lose someone from the hobby completely. So you have got to learn to be patient with cycling a tank. Cycling a tank, if you do it the normal way, where you just put some water in there and you get a sponge filter going, and let's say you just add a little bit of fish food here and there, it can take 6 weeks before that tank cycles. So let's talk about some different ways to speed that up, because a lot of times we can't wait that long. A good way to really speed that up is talk to the fish store that you got it at. Now, this is not going to work at a Petco or a PetSmart. You want to go to your local fish store, you know, your mom and pop fish store, and ask them, hey, do you have some filter media that you've already run on a tank that I can have and use to get my tank going faster? They may have a sponge filter. You can buy a sponge filter that they've been running on their tank for a year and bring it home and actually get that tank going, and it'll be cycled almost immediately. Or say you have a friend that's in the hobby, ask them, hey, can I get some filter media from you? Or maybe you can take a big bowl full of some substrate from someone's tank that it already has them going. The idea is you want to try to get some of that nitrifying bacteria already in your tank so that it grows faster. Another great thing that you can do, there's a lot of different things that you can add into your tank that provides a nitrifying bacteria. The only one that I have found that even seems to work whatsoever is the kind that's from Fritz. All the other kind that I've used before, that stuff just doesn't seem to work. I think the bacteria in it just seems to die. I was actually able to go to Fritz and see a tour of their entire place, and they showed the tank where they grow that bacteria. And so I promise you that when you get that bottle of that stuff, you are getting live bacteria that is immediately going to go to work for you. So understand that cycle. Make sure that you are testing that water, or you're taking it to the store and have them tested, so you can watch as that ammonia clears up and then that nitrite clears up and then nitrates are being produced. Then you can safely add your fish. We're losing too many people in the hobby because people aren't teaching them the importance of having that cycle completed so that you do not kill your fish. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Has been a lot of fun. Thank you. Also, be sure and leave any questions or comments down below. So thanks again guys, and God bless.